folks. Welcome back. Welcome here for the first time if you're new. I'm Don. I do non-pop country music reactions. And Tim Culpepper's Civil War. This was a gift request from David Baumer. So, David, thank you for the gift and the request. And I'm very intrigued because you said this should make one of my playlists. That leads me to believe it's probably for the marital counseling playlist or the premarital counseling playlist that I have. I've got a few playlists in there, songs that were rated 9 and higher. And then I have a special one for songs that I've given a perfect 10 to. And there are a few other playlists in there, but I've got a premarital counseling playlist, which is songs that, one, I'm a life coach, so I do talk with people. It's not official counseling. It's really situation coaching. It's preparing people for current context of what they're up against. If they're going to make a big decision, a career change, should they get divorced, all this stuff. But I started to notice about 2 years ago that a number of the songs on here, not just like cheating songs and all, but they were crafted in such a way that it's good for people who are about to be married and they're excited and, oh my gosh, this life ahead of me and dreams and hopes and the future and the endorphins are running and all this stuff. But to be aware of how to tend to the garden, how to be aware of the downside, how to be aware of how you might become a problem in your own relationship. And so some of these songs are crafted so well that they give perspective, which is important because when you get in a crappy situation, that's not the time to learn to fly. You want to have ideas in your head already when you're in a difficult emotional situation so that you could dial it back, so that you can move forward. If you're a little too reserved, you're not expressing your love. Myriad things that we know, those of us who have been married, and I'm divorced, and so I've been through that part of it. So anyway, we're going to find out if that's what you're referring to, David. And if you want to see that playlist, just go check it out. You can just look at the titles. You may not want to hear the songs, and you might want to hear some of the songs, but some of them are funny. Some are very poignant. So let's see what Tim Culpepper has for Civil War. Yikes. And with that intro on marriage, it may have nothing to do with it. It might actually be about the Civil War, or as many folks in the South will call it, the War of Northern Aggression. In any case, let's see what we've got. Oh, I think it's marriage. Piano is poignant.
He sits in his recliner, staring out the window into space. She reads a romance novel, but what'd she give for a warm embrace? They're the best of strangers now. There's nothing left worth fighting for.
What a line, the best of strangers.
But they stay together anyway, in their own civil war.
Wow.
At one time they could have taken on the world. Never was a love so strong.
That's what it feels like, that nobody ever felt that way.
But somehow, some way, they lost touch, and what was right went wrong.
He's got a great voice for country.
Anger turned to coldness. Now they don't even argue anymore. He does his thing, she does hers, in their own civil war.
Oh, the songwriter lived this, I think, or observed it.
Silence is their weapon. The wounds get deeper every day.
Yeah, you were right, David.
And neither one of them wants to be the first to walk away.
Yeah.
They're wasting their lives. Someone should get it in their mind to just walk out the door. But instead they live together far apart in their own civil war.
Interesting tone to the piano here. Steel makes sense.
Silence is their weapon. The wounds get deeper every day, and neither one of them wants to be the first to walk away.
Left and mutually agree.
They're wasting their lives. Someone should get it in their mind to just walk out the door. But instead they live together far apart in their own civil war. They're wasting their lives. Someone should get it in their mind to just walk out the door.
Oh, it's been on their mind.
But instead they live together far apart in their own civil war.
This sounds like a song that was written by one of the children observing the parents living like this, where they live this way, not we live this way. So it isn't the first person perspective from somebody going through it, of someone going through it. But man, the observations in this are way, way too close to home, way too real, way too on point. I don't see how a songwriter could make this up. And what I don't think this is like a fictionalized, let me sit down, write a song about divorce and what I would put in it. I mean, it seems to me this is somebody who observed it. And I think it was so close that it was somebody who observed their parents going through it. But there was no mention of children in it. So, yeah, I mean, I like to make conjectures about what makes the most sense or what fits. It's certainly consistent with a child writing this, but the one part that is missing is saying they stay together for the children. But maybe if it was a child writing this about, a son or daughter writing this about observing their parents just staying together in their own civil war, in their own distance, keeping distance, maybe the child didn't want to, make it too obvious that it was that they who were writing it. In any case, all that said, I like the production in this. Tim's voice was like ideal for this. Masculine but sensitive to the nature of the song. The tempo, you could feel the morass and the molasses of, what is it, molasses? The molassesing of time here, just moving slowly. And silence is their weapon. Good Lord, that is a weapon. And sometimes you don't have the words to say, or you don't want to start a fight, but it's going to start a fight. Maybe the other person has a bad temper, or they're not a good listener, or what they jump to conclusions when you start saying something, and you really want to address it in a thoughtful way to get through a difficulty in a relationship. But after a while, you're like, I don't want to, if I bring something up, it's just going to create a fight. It's not going to yield anything. And so that's where communication is huge in relationships. Any therapist, anybody who understands relationships and human nature knows that one, we're social creatures. Two, each has needs, wants, desires, preferences, and we need to compromise. But that communication is one of the primary keys in resolving differences. And that's the hard part, where there was a song 40 years ago or so. We tried doing this, this, and this, but the words got in the way. And you're like, yeah, that says it. The words get in the way. And, you know, you really need, in some ways, relationships are extraordinarily emotional, especially when things are difficult. But you need to address the issues dispassionately. And that's the conflict, because you feel so passionate about something, but you need to address it dispassionately, almost sort of like you're in a classroom dissecting an issue. And that's very difficult to do. The other person that you're with, your partner, spouse, wife, husband, has fears, has assumptions they may be making about what it is you're saying and where you're going. And so they may have a knee-jerk reaction to the sound of your initial words, even if they're couched kindly, thoughtfully, patiently, hopefully. And it can just squash any chance of addressing an issue. But if you realize that the underlying basis is love and that you want to get through the sticking point, knowing that there are going to be sticking points in relationships, and knowing that you've gone through sticking points, but sometimes neither has the desire to fight any longer for the relationship, and neither wants to walk away. So one reads a book and the other just sits in his Barca-lounger. David, great choice. You were right. I will put that in the marriage counseling, premarital counseling playlist, just not to give anybody a sense of disillusionment. I think that disillusionment is the happily ever after fairy tale that we believe in and that we want. But the work is absolutely ahead of you in a relationship to have those happy moments and that feeling of safety and security and longevity, and that the relationship will be till death do us part. So I'm going to rate this song as well. And the number that popped into my head was a 9.8. I don't know what kept it from being a 10, but boy, is that an awesome song. Not just what's in it is so real. I mean, I lived a lot of this stuff, not all of it in the context of my marriage, but, you know, my father was a silent treatment person. Like if he was upset with you, he would silent treatment you for days. And you want to talk about ripping the heart or, you know, sense of personhood, if you will, out of somebody. Give them the silent treatment. Just let them know you're not even worth talking to. And in this relationship, they didn't have that for each other. They just, it had gotten to the point where they'd grown apart and neither was going to fight with the other one. They were like, "Oh, we'll just be quiet." So David, that made 2 playlists, premarital counseling and the songs of 9 and above. Almost hit the 10 mark. So anyway, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. See you on another video. Keep rocking the country.